So I think that when the guy said that whole thing about if you want to date a Shaniqua or LaQuisha, you know, that to me was where he was stepping over the line. It was one thing when they mentioned the app, you know, the black dating app, and he said I don't use that. And then he started saying, well, look, if you want to date the LaQuishas and Shaniquas, and then he said we're not down with the brown, we don't dabble in the dark. You know, I think honestly, I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, that's really. I imagine like, what if a white guy was saying those things? Like, we don't dabble in the dark. We don't get down with the brown. Like, I mean, even though we don't care if white people won't date black people, I don't. I'll admit, I like black women. Like, that's my preference. I wouldn't date a white woman. It doesn't mean I hate them. I just have a preference, right? But it's kind of like I won't sit around and say, talk about another ethnic group and just say, like, or Asian people, and just say like, how you gonna get mellow with the yellow? I ain't playing with it. Yellow reminds me of pea. Like, I wouldn't say something like that, right? Because that would be a terrible thing to say, and it would be really bad if I was an Asian man saying that, right? Like, if you're an Asian, like, there's something deep about that I think we miss when we're just kind of talking about it on the surface level. I also think about just how many people would be hurt by the idea, by the fact that that's been promoted. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this, but it seems like in some pockets of the internet, there's a mass promotion to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of black people, that there's something fundamentally wrong with black women. And then also there are spaces where people are promoting the idea that there's something fundamentally wrong with black men, right? If you go to like the website For Harriet, they have a lot of commentary and comments that are very, very anti-black male, almost like black. I think The Root, which I think The Root is heavily influenced by the LGBT community. I'm convinced of that. But I think they wrote an article where they said black men are the white men of the black community, or something, or straight black men. Straight black men are the white men of the black community, or something like that. So you kind of have this division. And it makes me think about, Dr. Alicia, like the trauma. And you and I were discussing today about the ACEs scale and how so many of our people are very high on that scale of trauma. And that trauma can create some of this crazy dysfunctional interaction with each other.